It's pretty rare for a main love interest to be my favorite one in an anime, manga, or visual novel. In Senran Banka, it was Mako, although she is considered a main route. Yoshino is considered the main route. In Clannad, it was Tomoyo. In Aokana, it was literally anybody other than Asuka. And in Renai Royale, it's Yuna. However, in most anime, visual novels, or other mediums, I at least understand why the main love interest or interests is, well, just that. In Senran Banka, you help the shrine princess, Yoshino, defeat the curse on the town, and are even temporarily engaged to her in the common route. In Clannad, Tomoya has a wonderful relationship with Nagisa, and they're a really good fit for each other without going too much into any spoilers for that. In Aokana, while I strongly dislike Asuka, I can't stand her, she is the one that makes Masaya fall in love with the sky again. However, I think this is the first time that I've ever felt like a single character, when there was more than one option, was absolutely best girl, was absolutely the best route, and should not only be a main route, but should be the main route. But before I talk about why she should be the main route, let me talk about why the girls that are the actual main ones should not be. So let's go from my least disliked to my most disliked. So first, we have Rena. She's the other girl in the idol duo that Yuna is a part of. In my opinion, she's the only somewhat okay option out of all the four main girls. She at least has put in a lot of effort to get you to notice her, and she's spent a lot of time with you and has really gotten to know you. The main issue I have with her is that despite the fact that you and Yuna, her close friend and partner in the idol duo that she's in, dated and were in love in the past, she still tries to go for you, even though this may hurt her friend Yuna and could potentially cause her to lose her as a friend. It would be one thing if Yuna had moved on and didn't mind. Obviously that would be much more okay, but she still obviously loves you. Despite this, Rena is willing to hurt her own friend for the sake of her one-sided feelings, unless you obviously choose her. Now, I don't know about you, but if a close friend of mine had dated someone and obviously still had feelings for them, I wouldn't even consider trying to date them. Now, moving on to the next one, we have Shione. While she may not be my most hated route by any means, she is the one I'm the most confused about when it comes to them being a main route in the first place. At least I can see the reason as to why the other three girls are considered the main routes. But Shione? It makes no sense at all as to why she is a main route instead of Yuna, or even at all. She doesn't even tell you about her feelings for you, at least directly, until after you've already made a decision as to which girl you're gonna go for. It's obvious, but she never makes it clear, even when all of the other girls do. All the other girls profess their feelings for you at some point during the common route, but Shione? She doesn't. She also doesn't seem to make any effort to really get to know you better, despite knowing the least about you out of really all the routes in the game other than one extremely short, weird side route. Hell, even her assistant, or whatever her title is, seems to make more sense to choose than Shione does, although she doesn't get her out on her own, and she's a weird, borrow side route in Shione's actual route. This visual novel does that twice. It's kind of weird. I don't like it, but it is what it is. So now we're going to move on to the two routes that I actually actively hate. The first one is your sister, Nonica. That's pretty much all you need to know about why I hate this route. I'm fully convinced that anybody who likes sister routes in visual novels and other things doesn't actually have a sister themselves, because gross. Finally, we have my least favorite character in any visual novel that I have ever played, and I've played a lot of them. Mari is your childhood friend that disappeared for a few years. She was your first crush, and your feelings for her are the reason you and Yuna broke up the first time you dated. However, she then, after a few years of disappearing, cannonballs back into your life all of a sudden. She moves into your family home with you, invades your personal space, doesn't take no for an answer, tries to claim every ounce of your free time that she can, and says that she can do all of this because she's your childhood friend. Even when you start dating another girl, she still tries to sleep in your bed with you. She's the most annoying character in any visual novel that I have ever played, and this is the first time that I have actively hated every aspect of a character in a visual novel. I honestly might even make a separate video dedicated just to how much she sucks. So there. Now you know why the other characters shouldn't be a main route, but you may be wondering, then what makes Yuna so good that she should not just replace a different girl as a main route or be added as a fifth main route, but should be the sole main route? Well, let me tell you about Yuna's route. Yuna is an idol, but you already know that. I brought that up when I talked about Rena. Yuna tends to outshine Rena on stage and has a lot of adoring fans. Even one of your friends is an overly obsessed, rabid fan of hers. Before the present time in the visual novel, you went to one of the idol duo's performances, and that's where you saw her for the first time. However, it was Yuna that reached out to you. After the performance, she decided to go outside and introduce herself to you. You began to hang out more and more often, and eventually you started dating. You become very close, you spend a lot of time together, you start going backstage before the performances, which is where you start to get to know Rena, and you just spend a lot of time together. However, eventually you and her decide to go all the way. Your feelings for your first crush get in the way, and you and Yuna break up. Fast forward to present time, and Mari, your first crush, showing up randomly and declaring her love for you sparks the events that take place in the visual novel. Now, Yuna never stopped loving you. She broke up with you due to your lingering feelings for the absolute garbage named Mari. She didn't break up with you because she didn't want to be with you. In fact, she broke up with you because she truly loves you and only you, and wants you to feel the same way towards her if she's going to be with you. Overall, unlike most of the other girls, she isn't overly pushy with you when it comes to choosing her. You've already chosen her once before, but she chose to break up with you. Therefore, she has decided to patiently await your decision and hope and pray that you will choose her once again. Yuna comes off very mature to most people, but you know differently. She can be very catty, competitive, and possessive. She's also on Team Mari Sucks, which is a bonus for me. But when it comes down to it, what's very important to me for any visual novel route is for it to feel genuine, real, and natural, and for the girl to be a generally good person and a good fit for the protagonist. When it comes to the four main routes in this visual novel, Rena is a mostly good person, but she's willing to hurt her own close friend for her own desires, and really she doesn't feel like a natural fit for Hirotaka, the protagonist. I don't think I mentioned his name before, due to his relationship with Yuna. Shione doesn't feel genuine, and the romance feels forced at best. Nonica is your fucking sister. What else do you want me to say? And then finally, Mari is a terrible person with no regard for anyone other than herself. Yuna is kind, caring, and genuine, Her route is one of the most natural fits of any visual novel routes that I've ever played. Yuna and Hirotaka have chemistry, and obviously really care for each other. Yuna's route is also the most romance-focused route in a visual novel that, honestly, it prioritizes comedy over romance, even if a lot of the comedy falls flat. Yuna alone is the reason why I am very glad that I bought this visual novel. I really enjoyed playing her route a lot, and I'm so glad that I was able to go through it and experience this good romance between the two of them. If you haven't played it for yourself, I recommend checking it out. Now, I will say again, some of the comedy falls flat, and you will be forced to deal with Mari, as she is shoved in your face every 5 seconds, whether you like it or not, and you probably won't like it. But yeah, thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate you checking out my video and watching to the end. I also appreciate your patience if you've seen one of my videos before. I know it's been a few months since my last video. I've had a lot going on, school, work, lots of other stuff. I'm going to do my best to be more consistent. I think I've said that before and I didn't follow through. I'm going to try and follow through this time. My next video is already recorded after this one. That's because it's actually an in-person video, and you'll see what I mean fairly soon once I get that thrown together and edited. If you enjoy this, maybe subscribe. I make content about visual novels, anime, games, and whatever else I find interesting. I hope you enjoyed. Thanks again so much for watching, and I will see you next time.